let's take a look at how this build is performing in some bossing footage in crew campaign. Now this boss would have died in 10 seconds if I hadn't messed up my rotations. And by the way guys, this is how our damage scales, so I'm not exploiting any bugs or anything like that, and I don't expect this build to get nerfed. This build is naturally very strong and very far from optimizing, and I'll plan to take this build much further into the endgame. Now overall for the Act 4 to Act 6 was really easy. This build ran up much better than I thought it would be, with just one weapon upgrade I got in the beginning of Act 4. I killed all the bosses in one attempt, taking from 1 to 2 minutes each. The armor and evasion shell is working very well, at least during the campaign. And the damage potential is just too good that the weapon I got from Act 4 lasted all the way until the end of Act 6. In this video, I'll go over some of the most frequently asked questions, the rotation of this build for single and AoE damage, the gem setup toward the end of Act 6, and the adjusted skill trees. So I do plan on doing a full guide on this build later, but I need to take this build further into the endgame first. I do have a starter build guide set up to get you through the campaign though, and it's up on Mobalytics. The link will be in the description of this video. Let's do a quick Act 1 check-in for gear, skill gems, and passive trees for anyone that want a quick reference. Yeah, the weapon is like the only good thing in my gears pretty much.
I found messages.
And skill gems, fragmentation round, and venom, corrosions,
Find her.
glacial bolt, glaciations, cold fusion, ice spike,
Please.
HVR, lacerate, low shot, inevitable critical, freezing mark, inspirations, excise setup for cast on 3, condenser, clarity, vitality. So I'm still experimenting at this point, and I did make some ascendancy switch to get the adaptive capability because I had a lot of attributes issues, which I did not expect that this would be a problem. This allowed me to also run the cast on 3 setup, and on the skill trees, I take just enough dexterity to use a crossbow, and the rest of the point would be put into strengths. I dropped the two-handed damage cluster and path down to take the ailment damage notes. This is an appropriate spot to make a switch since we have enough points in the damage to scale ailments, which is why you see some really big numbers on bosses. So I thought Act 5 was supposed to be quite brutal because of how Act 2 went, but apparently most builds come alive by this point, so there's no big deal. If you feel weak in the crew campaign, you should trade all your currency to get some exalted orb, and then the trade size is now up. You just literally go search for any good physical crossbow that is similar or better than mine and use it to finish the rest of the campaign. By the way, the Dreadnought area was one of the hardest areas to clear, but I want to quickly show you a few clips of me shattering packs of monsters, and it's very satisfying. The AoE rotation at this point in the game for our build is very simple. The placement of Glacial Bolt will be key. You need to place the wall in front of the monster pack and shatter it with the fragmentation round in their face. For bigger monster pack, you can shoot straight at their feet and they will almost always get freeze instantly. Alright, so for single target damage, you can start by using Glacial Bolt until the target is frozen. After that, you switch to fragmentation round to consume the frozen and shoot a few more times to break their armors. Once the ammo is broken, you use high velocity round to consume the ammo break and then switch back to fragmentation round. Keep in mind that after consuming the frozen, the boss will have internal diminishing returns, so you need to wait 10 to 15 seconds before going back to the first steps. It's a straightforward process, and I also cover this in the written guide. Alright, so I want to quickly show you the full fight for the last boss of the campaign, because the first fight is actually terrible for Glacial Bolt, so you guys can see what I'm doing. And then after that, we'll talk about these setups. Alright, so for the first phase, I actually have two options. The first option is just to spam fragmentation round and whittle the boss down. But, you know, I think it's cooler if I shoot the Glacial Bolt and then try to freeze the boss that way. It's like you can see that if you shoot the Glacial Bolt position right in front of the boss and shatter it with the fragmentation round, you can actually build up freeze. You know, at this point, I'm still using the weapons from Act 4 and pretty much none of my gear is upgraded with anything. The weapon itself is good, but at this point it's already outdated, and I could have bought a much better weapons, but I think for the proper showcase, I'm just gonna go with the basic weapons from Act 4, which is what most people probably do because they are lazy to upgrade the weapons or can't really find any upgrades, so yeah. Anyway, so a lot of people have asked me what do I think about the grenade build and if I'm gonna play that or not, and honestly, I think that's a maybe, but I'm really enjoying this build right now. The feelings of swapping back and forth between the two ammunition playstyle is really growing on me, and it's different from a 2-button build, right? And so I really want to take this build into the end games, look into scaling with proppers, jewel gears. There's a lot of potential there. I take a look at a few jewels on the PoE DB, and I'm really liking it. So I think this build have so much more potentials. And we are only at the first week of the game, and there's so much more to be discovered. But anyway, let's talk about the skill trees and gem setups. Again, just to quickly show you, this is my gear from the end of Act 6. Pretty much the same crossbow, and the rest of the gears are like minor upgrades. Doesn't really matter. However, now that we are done with the campaign, I'll need to focus on the defensive layer as well, so my top priority would be fixing my resistance and get more life on my gear. Now for the skill gems, the fragmentation round, the only change I made was to swap deadly poison with comorbidity because I have access to tier 3 support stream now. The rest are still the same, and if I get another socket, I'll put comorbidity back. Glacial Bolt, I'm still using the cookie cutter setup with glaciation for more frost build up, cold infusion, and ice bite for extra damage. Some people ask why do I put cold damage like ice bite here, and it's because the ice wall also shatter for a lot of damage, and so a little bit of damage here and there goes a long way. Plus there's not too much good support options when it comes to Glacial Bolt. I'm really contemplating on using high velocity around here, but I believe it's that with more support gems, more link, this will scale properly later in the game. So if it's too early in the game, you might better off keeping the ammo break and shoot with fragmentation round instead. I do find that that I like to use a skill in my rotation, so I'll keep testing it out. For the rest of the skill gems, I suggest using Wind Dancer socketed with Clarity and Vitality, which this is a really comfy setup during map. The setup gives us enough sustain and some one-shot protection, so yeah. Herald Blade is a good choice for AoE clear. And if you have enough spirit, I suggest running attritions with cannibalisms for helping with the rare and boss monster. I've also tried a few casts on free setup, but ultimately I didn't really like it, and the one with the most potential was cast on free's contagion setup. But as of now, I recommend running attrition more. Let's talk about these skill trees. Now, some of the notes that I made the switch over is particularly very powerful. But first, let me explain why we swap out the two-handed damage node in the beginning. Now, with the way PoE 2 works, you need a lot of upfront passive damage node in the beginning of the game, or you'll feel bad. What this means is that early in the game, where we can't path all the way down here, grab all these ailment damage node, you have to rely on passive point for damage. Once you have the proper weapons, proper setups, then you can just path down here, you simply respec out, and with that being said, some of the nodes down here are very, very good for us. We have bleed and poison damage. So any of these nodes that say increase magnitude or upgrade our damaging ailment that we inflict will essentially double dip on our damage. Beside that, the nodes are always good, but yeah, that's about it. I need to get this set up to map, try out a few things to see where I go from here. Anyway, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back with more updates later. Subscribe, comment, like, and Lazy's out.